Welcome to the RBN Roundtable for December 2025. Good to see all of you guys here. I am one of your hosts, James Fauntleroy. So good to see you. And I also have Mal behind me too, saying hello. Welcome to all of you, Savvy and Nick. I almost called you JB. I'm sorry. Good to see you.
What's poppin', my friends? What's poppin', my friends? Great to be here back on the RBN Roundtable. It's been a while. I think Ron should be joining us here very soon. I know we got some funny stories to discuss, so I can't wait to get to it.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Sabs?
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I'm laughing because I heard you were about to say JB too.
I was like, wait, what? I don't know. I had tea already. I don't need no more caffeine. But anyways, just to let you guys know, the RBN Roundtable is every month on the last Thursday of the month. So if you guys want to tune in, you guys can always tune into that. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and give a like to the stream. This helps us out to be able to reach more people so that we may be able to inspire, encourage, and activate. So thank you guys so very much for that. You guys can also join our mailing list at revolutionaryblackout.substack.com. Gives you email notifications whenever we have any content that goes up. And if you guys like to get in contact with us, you guys can get in contact with us at revolutionaryblackout@outlook.com. You guys can give us any words of encouragement or any stories you find interesting there. Guys, let's get into this because I want to say hello to everybody, but we also have a hard stop at 6 p.m. and I want to make sure we get into the story. It is going to be funny because even though, we're in the late stages of capitalism and everything's going to crap right now, as we can see, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes you got to laugh to keep yourselves from crying, and we're going to laugh today. At whose expense? Well, the parasite's expense. So, all right, let's take a look at the thumbnail. We're going to get into it, guys. So, border protection? Look at this. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Nick, Savvy. I'm going to put up the thumbnail again, but I want you guys to give me your first impressions of what you're seeing. Just take a shot in the dark.
That's our new fascist job program. Like, Trump can't build anything. Like, we're not making anything. We've been left behind by China. And now, there's all these mediocre, out of shape, middle-aged dudes who are in a rut in their life. And they're now going through the job program in the United States government and realizing they made a big mistake.
They can't run fast enough.
My man said Mill Team 6. Mill Team 6.
Okay. They taking anybody. They take.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something right now. As a fluffy guy myself, I can say with confidence that for somebody like me, seeing that guy that heavy, hold up, wait a minute. When we get into this story, I'm gonna let you know right now, with my fluffy ass, I'm more qualified than some of these guys that are actually in ICE. That's the crazy part. I'm more qualified.
Baby, you have to remember, a lot of these people, they couldn't pass a military fitness test. These are the people who couldn't join the military. They're not even qualified to become cops. So they become ICE agents.
They're the
how it goes.
Do you remember the movie called The Replacements? They're the replacements. Yeah. They're like the
yeah. Look,
that's what it reminded me of.
Look, I'm telling you right now, they make the people in Police Academy look like Navy SEALs. Jesus Christ. They need a Lieutenant Harrison there going, move that. Rome, good to see you, bro.
What's going on, man? What's going on, y'all?
RBN Voltron is complete. What's poppin', Rome?
I had to rush back, but I'm here. How y'all doing?
We are good. I want you to give me my I want to give you your first impressions of what you see on this thumbnail of these ICE agents. What is your first impression?
Why you trying to get me canceled, man? You trying to get me wrong being fat phobic? No, I see some people who's basically they wanted to be a police officer, somebody who wanted to be in the military, but yeah. As you can see, that's not gonna work out.
So the thing is, like, people like that is scary because if you don't have the physical fitness, if you don't have the ability and you're not confident in your ability to apprehend a suspect, these are the people more likely to pull a gun on people. You know what I mean?
I think there's an echo.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but I just think you got to mute. So make sure you're on mute when you're not speaking. I think that should solve it.
Yeah.
I think it's just his house is empty. That's what it is. I was saying.
Yeah, Ron, just make sure you mute when you're not speaking. I think we should be good.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
Gravy Seal, the Biscuit Brigade, Diabetes Force. You guys are going there. Hey, there's nothing wrong with fat shaming fascists.
Wait, the green beignet.
The Refrigerator Raiders, the Bird King Brigade.
Gravy Seal. I like Gravy Seal.
Guys, let's get into the story. This is a really funny one because look, the Trump administration they're flailing right now. So I'm gonna go to this video first and then we will get into the article. It is god awfully hilarious, but at the same time, it's kind of scary, and I'll tell you guys why. Let's get into this.
Welcome back now to an NBC News exclusive and new questions about who will be carrying out the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. One current and two former Homeland Security officials tell NBC News that some new ICE recruits have showed up to training without being fully vetted. The officials telling NBC News the recruits ICE's training program before the agency determined that they had either failed drug tests, had disqualifying criminal backgrounds, or had not met the physical or academic requirements to serve. Now, it comes as the agency rushes to hire officers to carry out President Trump's mass deportation policy. NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley helped break that story. She joins me now. Congratulations on this scoop, Julia. Thank you for breaking it here. So just how many ICE agents are we talking about who could fit into this unqualified category?
Well, according to some data that was compiled very recently internally at ICE, there were over 200 new recruits who showed up for training. That's supposed to be after they've gone through a security vetting, fingerprints, drug test, attested that they can do the physical portion of the training. They've showed up and they haven't been able to meet those requirements. And some they show up and they volunteer the fact that, no, I never did submit fingerprints, or no, I never did do a drug test. And so trainers are having to pull people off the base there in Georgia and take them out to go get these things done. So the real concern is who might not be admitting that and who might be slipping through the cracks.
So, Julia, why is this happening? Is it because there's a rush to get people through? Is it because they're not being careful enough? What's the best explanation?
When I talked to former officials who know the way this process used to work in the past, they said it was pretty slow going and really used to drive a lot of people crazy because it could take up to a year before they were fully vetted and put out into training and then out into the field. Now it can be as short as 2 weeks. Sometimes it's not exactly clear what needs to happen, but they report to a field office, and if they have no prior law enforcement experience, they're sent to this training. But before they even go to that field office, they're supposed to come in with HR having checked all these boxes. In a lot of cases, that's just not happening. Part of it is, I've told the HR office just hasn't gotten the resources that they need to be able to match this huge demand to hire 10,000 new officers by the end of the year. And I'm told, Kristen, they're less than halfway to fulfilling that goal.
Wow. Well, I know you.
Y'all.
This is fantastic. Like, it's gonna be harder for fascists to recruit their foot soldiers. The best among us don't want to join this. It's only the most desperate, and the empire's ability to recruit less is a good thing. Like, this is what Zoya said. After Black Lives Matter, police recruitment was way down, so they lowered standards. failed drug tests, gang tattoos, and criminal records. And we're seeing the same thing with ICE now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's continue on.
They'll continue to stay on top of that. In the meantime, we saw these ICE operations ramp up in New York and Los Angeles. What are you watching there?
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, we want more details.
Okay, so let me get into this article because I want to make sure that we get to this article because it gets even worse. It's so much worse. It's so much worse. Oh my gosh. Y'all ready to laugh? Let's get into this because I am foaming at the mouth for this one because I love seeing the empire fail. It said Kristi Noem's ICE hiring chaos laid bare as fat, illiterate, and violent misfits not ready to tie their own laces are recruited. Can you believe it? In the words of Shaquille O'Neal, can you dig it? My gosh.
This administration is embarrassing.
Look at this. Look at Kristi Noem. Who is she kidding?
Fascist Barbie. All these MAGA women, they had the same look, the same heavily plastic surgery look. Like, can you age with grace, man? What's up with all this plastic surgery you guys fucking
They
do?
all go to the same doctors.
Yeah.
But I believe it because who else would want to work for something like this? You even have police officers who's the lowest of the low. You even have police officers looking down on ICE agents. So this is what you're going to attract. You know, when you want people to be the lowest of the low, when you want people to, you know, break the people's constitutional rights, you're going to get the lowest of the low. You know, you are actively reaching at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody with a backbone or a right mind will ever join ICE. Nobody.
Let's get into this article here. It is hilarious. It says the Trump administration's frantic push to hire 10,000 new deportation officers by year's end has spiraled into what insiders describe as a national embarrassment, with lax vetting and a signing bonus of up to $50,000 luring in a wave of woefully unfit recruits.
That's crazy. That's a crazy. Like, can you just pause right there, JB, just for a second? Like, this is what we're spending our resources on? For what? Like, you guys not even. Donald Trump is not even deporting at the same level as Joe Biden, but you guys think he's spending more resources, more ineffective. Like, Biden and Democrats, they looking at this like you fucking amateur, embarrassing the United States by having this ineffective ICE, but that costs way more money. Where's the fiscal conservative with no concerns over this? Just throwing away money for a jobs program. Like, we're all for a jobs program. I want a jobs program where we actually build something. But you guys notice how the capitalists, their job program is creating fascist soldiers who are not even qualified. But go ahead, JB.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a ton of money, man.
It's true. It gets worse. It says an exhaustive Daily Mail investigation has exposed how Immigration and Customs Enforcement has lowered standards so dramatically that the new cohort now includes recent high school graduates and applicants who can barely read or write, as well as those who lack basic physical fitness and even have pending criminal charges. Most of the new hires in the $30 billion initiative are retired law enforcement who are receiving virtual training and being repurposed for desk duty. So they're not even getting actual training on the field. They're just desk guys. It says, oh my gosh. It says that the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, the instructor says they have been left astounded at the level of incompetence. They said we have people failing open book tests. How in the hell do you fail an open book test?
Bro, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, they're not calculus 2. Calculus 3.
I know games with more qualifications than this shit. God damn. This is crazy.
It says we have folks that can barely read or write English. But aren't they the ones to say, oh, this is America, speak English? Well, if you can write it, and if you can read it, like, y'all can't even read and write English. So sit down and shut up. Like, what in the world is going on? What is going on? Got me sounding like Sabby when she's confused. What's going on?
This is crazy. It's crazy, man. Like, it just seems like a bunch of people signed up who maybe, like Jerome's point, didn't qualify to join the police department. Maybe they wanted to be cops, and this is their way to kind of throw their weight around, like literally, like, or to have some type of power so they can have a badge and say, "Look at me, I have a badge and a gun."
Speaking of throwing your weight around, it says we even had a 469-pound man sent to the academy whose own doctor certified him not at all to fit for any physical activity. It says the vetting process has been so rushed that officials don't even wait for drug tests to come back before hiring recruits and flying them off to Georgia, only discovered afterward that test came back positive. That means you can't even wait for a drug test? They can't even wait. My God. Okay. Whew. It gets worse. It says in one shocking incident, they were left with their heads shaking their heads when one student asked to be excused from class so he can attend court date on a gun charge. Other recruits were even discovered to have tattoos associated with gangs and white supremacists when they
Of course.
during workouts.
Of course. They pulled the P headset.
It was a video of an ICE agent. I believe he was Latino or something. But he was telling them like, "Yeah, I'm a part of a gang." He had his tattoos, and he was really like, "Yeah, he was." They really have gang members out there. They have the lows of the low out there, and people who, from the scab workers to all of them, they all out there getting any type of money that they can. They don't feel like they have class solidarity with anybody that's an immigrant, anybody that's working class, because not only is they snatching up, undocumented immigrants, they are snatching up working class Americans. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, they're not being arrested or deported," but that is the whole point. Like, I don't even want to be stopped by you. I don't even want to be stopped by you. So, for the simple fact that they are doing this, shit about to get ugly. And if you guys don't have the soldiers, when the people get pissed off, if your soldiers are not as fit as y'all need them to be when the time come, ICE is gonna get wiped out. Y'all already got y'all ass kicked in North Carolina. Chicago whooped y'all ass. Y'all got y'all ass kicked all throughout California. But if the people actually wanted to pick up arms or something like that, ICE would be done for. ICE would be melted in a couple of weeks, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's no surprise because there was already studies done, and there was FBI reports that highlighted how white supremacists essentially they entered the police force in massive numbers following the civil rights movement, and what a lot of the racist white women went to. A lot of people don't talk about what the racist white women do. They talk about how racist white men become police officers. A lot of those racist white women became nurses, and they became teachers to implement their white supremacist ideology in schools. That's why there's a lot of medical mistreatment of black women. So what we're seeing with ICE is what we've seen in law enforcement for a very long time. White supremacists and Nazis using that as a tool to implement their ideology. And we are seeing it with ICE right now as well. Like the LAPD is effectively operating as a gang. They was caught operating like a criminal gang. The NYPD, they're a criminal gang. We're going to see the same thing with ICE too. Just straight up fascism on the streets. Everything that they paint our enemies as, right? But go ahead, James.
Yeah. And also to add to your point, Nick, there was somebody who was importing, they were basically bringing in fentanyl into the United States, and it was a white woman who was working for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Of course. Of course.
And yes, and so they're trying to go after people who are like, "Oh my God, they're bringing fentanyl into the country." Maybe you should try the sheriff's office and police departments, because those are the people who are doing it. Meanwhile, here in Florida, in South Florida, I think it's in Broward, they actually sued the police department for actually making crack cocaine in the police precincts and trying to lure people, particularly black people, into buying it. And then they got sued.
They're not ready for that conversation yet, JB. You had Trump and MAGA pretending that they're gonna fight drug trafficking, by attacking boats in Venezuela. But fam, the CIA is involved with the drug trafficking in North America. If there's fentanyl coming from Venezuela, why there's not a fentanyl crisis there? Why is there not a fentanyl crisis in China? It's because there's massive demand in America. It's Americans doing the drug smuggling. But somehow, white America convinced themselves to blame everyone except America. Everyone got to take accountability for their actions except America for their drug problem. But continue, JB.
Okay. It says other recruits have even discovered that tattoos associate. Okay, I already read that. It says reports include incidents of violence, disruptive behavior, and allegations of sexual misconduct on campus, most handled internally. It says one recruit, 29-year-old Darian Coleman, was arrested by county police for allegedly exploding at a FLETC bus driver and smashing his phone, according to records obtained by the Daily Mail. He was described as a known problem on campus who had just resigned when he demanded a ride from the driver. Sources say another male recruit, after hitting the bars, was caught barging into a female dorm and hitting on the occupants. Another groped a woman in class. And it was like, oops, I touched you guys can read that word. One said, nope, he went on full predator mode while he was doing the defensive tactics training. And so these guys, they're also harassing the female recruits. They're doing all this while claiming to be protecting people, particularly women, against what they say is a lot of undocumented immigrants are doing. But they're actually the ones that are doing it.
I can't say that I don't feel bad for the women who was attacked. You know, any form of sexual assault is a bad thing. It shouldn't happen. But I want to ask them, what do you expect when you surround yourself with evil men? If they can do these things, you know, and still live another day and not really dwell on it, if they can do these things to immigrants, what makes you think they won't do it to you or your children? Right? So what do you expect? And it's the same thing that I ask women who have the same stories when they go to the military or any type of service, and they come back with their stories. Like, I hear you, understand you, but what did you expect? You know, you are with the lowest of the low that this world can give you, and you expect for them to, you know, not put hands on you or not assault you in any way, not, you know, to gang up on you. Anyway, you think that you are protected because you're white? You think you're protected because you are a white supremacist or a Nazi? You're sure they got no. Everybody gets it, and that's the whole thing of white supremacy. Everybody gets it, you know, and everybody gets mistreated. It don't even have to be black people or immigrants around. If it was all white people here, they'd start breaking it down and say, well, you're not really white because you're Italian. You're not really white. You're South African. You're not really. And they're going to pick apart. And this is what white supremacy doing is self-destruction. It's always going to be the goal of white supremacy because it can't sustain human life. But what did you expect when you surround yourself with people like this? I don't get it.
Rome, did you guys see what Pete Hegseth said? I love, Pete Hegseth, he's amazing. He exposes the empire more than anyone else. Pete Hegseth was like, man, I'm tired of these sexual assault accusations ruining the career of well-established military men. And now they're like cracking down on people who report sexual assault in the military because it makes the military look bad. That's why there's a massive sexual assault problem in the IDF as well, in the United States military. What kind of person, just think about the mindset of the kind of person who want to be a stormtrooper for an obviously corrupt regime. These are the people that are not safe to be around if you're a woman. So I really wish that they took that to heart and keep themselves out of danger by refusing to associate with these fascist scumbags. But please continue, JB. Yeah.
In addition to that, I mean, all these people, they're propagandized to think that they're protecting the homeland. And so some of them may not be, as knowledgeable as us. They're not as knowledgeable, or they're not, as politically astute as many of us are. And so they think they're propagandized and who they're around all the time. They think that this is what is the right thing to do. So then they get there and then they're taken advantage of. And then they end up like this, and they realize that it is a horrible place to be. And so, ultimately, I just feel bad that they had to experience that. And unfortunately, that's the way the system operates, right? Is that it is built not just on white supremacy, it's also built on things like patriarchy as well. And so it is used to be able to be as ruthless to people, including our own, as possible. And so, unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. There's a lot of people, just like the men are propagandized, even women who go into these are as well. And so they don't know better until it happens. And that's the sad part about it.
Wasn't there a sign-up bonus for this too? Didn't they offer them?
$50,000.
Yeah, and I'm thinking some people did it for the money.
Yeah. And they may not even know all the things that we know about imperialism and the way and how terrible the United States are, or they may make excuses because they think that other countries are more terrible for some reason because they believe that they drink the Kool-Aid, right? Because that's
they're
how
economically desperate. Like people cannot underestimate how much like the capitalists design our system to fail the working class because they need more people to sign up for the military. Like that's the reason why we don't have a coherent education system. They will never offer you free college until they end the war with China. Like they plan the war with China, so they're not going to give you free healthcare, free college until you fight for the empire for it. And that's what we're seeing with ICE here. A lot of these people, I'm sure they're not even have any ideology. They're just doing it because they're desperate for a meal, and that's how they keep their own system armed by taking advantage of people's desperation, right?
And the sad part about this, Nick, is if somebody like that is listening to this stream, that's probably the first time they've ever heard anybody say anything like that. And that's probably something that may open their eyes and wake them up. But not everybody listening to us.
And you know what? I'm not going to give niggas the benefit of the doubt. They is. But y'all niggas know what's going on because y'all be the same niggas talking about, I'm not political, I'm apolitical, and this, and that. But when we ask you, how do you feel about this and that, blah, 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 like, you know it's out there. You know it is happening, but you're like, I don't want to get into it because you know you a scab. If we ask you, like, I'm about to go out and get a couple of interviews tomorrow. There's some workers at Factory Zero out here in Detroit. They're all getting laid off after they just got a new job from getting laid off from GM. So we got to go talk to them and see what their game plan is. But a lot of these people, I'm not political. Y'all gonna be the same non-political niggas in line to take over their job when when they offer you crumbs. Y'all gonna be breaking the picket, walking amongst the picket fence and the picket line. Let's be real. You know what's going on. You just don't want to think about it because if you really thought about it, you are a bad person. You are a bad person, bro. Just because you ignore it don't mean it goes away. Just because you don't pay attention to it don't mean it's not happening. You're not actively hurting the working class because every time you cross the picket line, it hurts 10 workers, So yeah, I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt. We way too smart for that. We got way too much information. If you choose not to, look at it, then oh well. I'm still gonna tell you it is what it is, bro. There's way too much going on for you not to know.
I would say most people are not where we are though. Most people that I talk to, a lot of them aren't even paying attention to politics until it's like it's the presidential election season. But most people are not where we are, especially on foreign policy. Gaza is a little bit different because we watched a live stream genocide on social media. So that's a little bit different. Think about how many people were supporting Israel prior to that live stream genocide. Because a lot of people just don't know. So from my experience talking to people on the ground, most people they are not where we are. So that's something I just always try to keep in mind. And especially these border towns like down south that I've lived in, a lot of people there are brainwashed into believing that the reason why they're in the conditions that they are is because there are people who came and people who crossed the border who took like their jobs and stuff like that. So it's prevalent. It's out there. And then I think some of the people just wanted the money. And they knew that. They knew that the money would get some people. That's why they offered a bonus like that. They didn't offer a bonus of like $500. You know what I mean? They offered a significant amount. So people who need that money probably were some of the first ones to sign up.
Yeah. Let's continue on here because it's about to get funny again. It says the Daily Mail can reveal that because they basically said that they had thousands upon thousands, over 200,000 people signed up. Says, however, the Daily Mail can now reveal that many of the candidates were counted more than once because they applied for multiple job announcements. Meanwhile, other applicants were suspected to be AI bots and pranksters providing their addresses such as 123 Sesame Street and their job experience as effing your mother. The number they're giving is already inflated because we have a number who aren't qualified because the system they're using is so poor. Nobody has vetted this. One man was initially declared eligible after citing his wife as a reference and claiming to be an Egyptian police officer, but ultimately got flagged. Other misfits have skated through, HR staff facing more pressure to be efficient and thorough. The headquarter folks in the Department and White House have threatened people's jobs if they don't make the numbers they're expected to meet. So it is getting hairy even for people who work for DHS and ICE. Says Tyshawn Thomas, the HR chief with ICE, was transferred out of his position last month, purportedly due to pressures of the job. And then it says here, sources say he had recently had to be taken out of the building in an ambulance after a stress-related fainting episode. You literally got people who work for ICE and HR that are fainting now because of the stress.
Because they know they're going to the Hugh. They going to the Hugh, and they know they're wrong. They are breaking so many rights. When you think about it, when you actually sit and think about it, and have a moment of clarity with yourself and be like, dang, I might end up in prison for the rest of my life. There's a good chance once this administration ends, there's a good chance of me getting, thrown in court over this, and no face mask can hide this. No face mask can hide this. We have data. We can, hack servers with your names on it. We know your tattoos. It don't take much to identify somebody in these times. Trust me, I know on TikTok, girls will find you. All you need is a tattoo on your hand or something. They're gonna find you. And the people, either the courts deal with you or the people are gonna deal with you. And your ICE is gonna be just like the Israelis. They're gonna be so unpopular that they can't adapt to real life. So, not only you have, people outside, hating them, people in their family gotta hate them. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The money isn't worth this. So it's a lot on you, but you didn't have to do this. You did this to yourself.
Well, unfortunately, what's going on right now is because the cost of living crisis is growing so high, you have a lot of people that are even more desperate. And so they're going to be willing to take these positions, even if it is against the working class, even if it's against their fellow workers. The reason being is because, I'll be honest with you, self-preservation is a motherfucker. And people are going to try to preserve themselves as much as possible because they feel like, look, if I can't get a job anywhere else. And how many people do we know that have been applying for jobs like crazy and they still can't get one? We have people with master's degrees.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you. I was just hanging out with some of my friends recently, and one of them still they cannot find any permanent job, and I'm not even just find the job; they can't get the interview. Fully qualified, but they keep saying there's all these jobs out here, but a lot of those jobs are contract positions or they're temp positions. So they're in a contract role, which is only about 6 to 8 months. And then after that, they have to start looking again. I mean, I know people that have been laid off for like 6 months to a year. Mm-hmm. So people are going to take whatever comes their way so that they can pay their bills and put food on their table. Unfortunately, that's at least that's the reality here. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but I can tell you in Massachusetts, people are taking what they can get.
Yeah. You guys hear Nikki Haley's son, the Nepo baby, and he was going around on Fox News, and he went on a media tour because he's like the next young Republican they try to prop up, and he was explaining to a lot of Republicans a lot of reason why Gen Z is leaning more towards socialism now is because people like him did everything. They like people like me did everything right. We went to school. Remember, this guy, he's deeply problematic. You think like people who are poor deserve to be poor? Like that's the ideology of these people. And he like, man, we went to school, we went to college, we believe in free market capitalism, and we can't even get a job. This is Nikki Haley's son. Like he's explaining to the Republicans who he still wants to be in power. He's like, guys, we got to change something, or we're going to lose this entire generation to socialism, because people are seeing the system fail in real time. Like, there are people who are not even remotely radical, but they were, like Nikki Haley's son said, they did the right things. They went to college, they got their master's degree, and they're not. There's no jobs out here. I have multiple people in my personal life who was laid off, who take pay cuts. I try not to like talk about their information live, but everything that you guys are going through, I'm going through, that we're going through. I know people in my personal life going through like this. They're realizing that this system is a complete sham. And where do we go from here? Because it's not going to get better. Like AI people like Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, they're going around bragging about how they're going to completely replace like everyone who got like a computer science degree. That's why I originally went to school and college for studying programming. Thank God I didn't finish that, because all the people who study programming, you're screwed. Bro, GPT and all these DeepSeeks, all these AIs, they can do all the coding that people used to get hired for. You know what I mean? I have a brother who graduated from computer science, can't get a job. Like, it's completely insane. And there was a massive fraud committed on an entire generation. And that's why people who are desperate had to sign up to ICE. They had to sign up and hopefully become part of the stormtroopers. And it's by design. I don't know how this ends. I think we either descend to barbarism or social. That is my personal belief. It's either barbarism or socialism, because there's not any recovery. The system is broken inherently. Like, the boomers are holding on to their wealth, and they will not get rid of it until they die. You know what I mean? But it's bleak, man. It's bleak, and people are going to continue to do this kind of stuff because they're desperate. It's complete desperation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let me.
I don't know if you got emails, but this is. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to the JB. I do.
Well, I was going to share this as well.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah. So it says ICE mocked as video of food delivery rider escaping agents goes viral. Now that's a Chi-Town biker. So it says a viral video shows ICE agents chasing a food delivery worker in Chicago, sparking public ridicule and questions about agent effectiveness. So basically, he outran them on a bike. It says around 10 immigration and customs officers can be seen chasing a food delivery worker in downtown Chicago in a now viral video. Christopher Sweet, co-founder and CEO of Gray Stack Media, initially posted video footage as an exclusive. According to images currently dominating social network site X, the individual being pursued seems to have managed to elude all ICE officers who are pursuing him while fully outfitted in tactical gear. It's crazy. So it just shows how incompetent they really are, and how the Trump administration, ultimately, they just cannot deal. And they're rushing and flailing to make Trump look good, so that he'll say, oh, well, look, we deported all these people. Meanwhile, Trump still has not reached the levels at all of what Obama did as far as deportations.
Yeah,
Trump
amateurs.
is like half of what Trump was doing per month.
Yeah, they're complete amateurs compared to the Democrats. That's why it's even laughable how much their policies fail. But it also kind of show, like, and this is a point that I've been making, that just how barbaric Democratic immigration policy is. One of the reasons why Donald Trump numbers is lower than Joe Biden's and Barack Obama is because he's scaring the shit out of a lot of people who cross the border. That's why border crossings are low. I describe it as he's being honest about his policies. The United States being honest about their policies. We don't believe in immigration. If you come here, we're going to send your ass back home. We don't have to agree with it, but at least they're being honest. But what do Democrats do? And this is why Democrat numbers tend to be higher in deportations. In order to win over the Latino community during elections, they pretend they offer immigration. We support the American dream. We love immigrants, and that gives the impression to people in the global South that a Democratic Party administration would help them out and accept their asylum claims, which lead to more people attempting to cross the border. And then once they get here, the Democrats are like, no, don't you realize that we were just saying that shit for the election, bro? And then they send their kids in cages. They brutalize them. And that dynamic in general is why Democrats tend to deport more people. Not because Republicans have like a less like not like Democrats' policy or like more outwardly inhumane than Republicans. It's just all down how they message in their strategy, and the fact that I guess they're more effective managers of the establishment, right?
And I don't
I want to
see.
share. I don't know if you have anything else you want to share, JB, because
I
I do want to share Trump. Like there are a lot of people who supported Trump's initial like mass deportation plans. Now there was a poll that showed that independents are now souring on Donald Trump, specifically on immigration. And I think like people seeing the failure of the ICE raids in person is leading to this. Look, Trump's approval rating drops to 36%, new second term low. And we're seeing the mass exodus of independents. We're seeing Republicans. I think his policy on ICE play a very big role in it. Like there's a massive crater in independence. Look, he had this giant high, like the high of Donald Trump when he first was elected. Remember, he was showing up to NFL games. Like it was like Trump had this massive wave of the culture, and now like it's like Joe Rogan is distancing himself from Donald Trump. All the right wing podcast bros don't want anything to do with this, and this is when people like it's cool to fantasize about fascist policies, but once you see it in action, you see look at the independents. Look, Donald Trump was killing it with independents. He almost lost half all independent support. Now I say all the time, like this whole independent thing is nonsense because either you supporting, like if you're voting for Republicans, you're a Republican, bro. Stop saying you're independent if you vote for any part of the duopoly. I want to share this because I want to on the height of immigration because I know we'll get super chat here very soon. I want to show this video because I think the Somalian response to this, and I want to get your guys' response to this because I think this. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is Donald Trump attacking the Somalian community. I want to play this video. I want to get you guys' response to it. Because I think the response to the Somalians was pretty hilarious.
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars. Billions. Every year. Billions of dollars. And they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason.
Jesus.
The country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. Somalia.
You guys see this? I think this is pure desperation by Trump. Seeing his numbers tank, seeing even his culture war bros are turning against him because the Epstein files. So what do he do to recover? Immediately start stoking racial tensions. Do you guys have any reaction to this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing he did his first term. This is why I don't understand why, people thought he was going to be different, because
Exactly.
Does everybody remember when Donald Trump did the what was it, the Muslim ban, like under his first presidency?
Yeah.
He was like that then.
And the Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my answer to Trump would be, if you don't want Somali people in this country, then get the hell out of Somalia.
Exactly.
Why in the hell are we having Somalia? Get our troops out, close all the bases, get them out. Because here's the thing, you want to say, oh, we don't want them in our country, and yet it's rules for thee, but not for me. No, get your stinking hands out of Somalia. While you're at it, get your stinking hands out of Venezuela as well. Get your hands out of all the African countries. Get your hands out of Haiti. Get your hands out of these countries. And maybe, just maybe, if you left them alone, then they'd probably be more wanting to stay, because they can actually build their country instead of you always interfering with it and then making it worse. Because Somalia is in the state that it's in because of the West.
Exactly.
So if you got a problem with it, stop making the mess, fool. That's the crazy part.
And no one actually discussed this. There's only a handful of media outlets that discuss the fact that Somalia has been bombed by the last 3 to 4 United States presidents, including Joe Biden. Joe Biden was dropping bombs on Somalia. And look, under Trump, U.S. strikes on Somalia has doubled since last year. So the nerve to attack a state while you actively engage in the plundering of it, the destruction of it. But this, I just want to quickly share this, JB. I'm almost done. But what I found hilarious from the story, and this is what I mostly want to share for you guys, is how the Somalian community was responding. Well, I think it has been hilarious. I love our people so much. I don't know if you guys seen this trend because the Somalians, after hearing Donald Trump, and I have the same reaction generally, whenever I run to racist people, like, oh my God, whites are being replaced. Oh my God, black taking over. I'm like, bro, get over it. We're not going anywhere. To me, I find it funny. Whenever I see white people panicking about being replaced, to me, it's peak comedy. And now Somalians are taking with stride, and they're bringing up the same arguments that white America seems to accept when it comes to the Israelis. So I'm gonna play this. And there's a wave with these social media videos of Somalians claiming that Minnesota is their holy land that was promised to them. I think this is the funniest satire.
The state of Minnesota is the home of the Somali people, in which it fulfills its natural, cultural, religious, and historical right to self-determination.
I love our people so much. So this is how we respond. When our community is under threat, we respond with humor and satire. Look, Somalis around the world are headed back to the promised land. No amount of, how you say, the anti-Semitic will stop us. They're mocking the anti-Semitism hoax.
To America, but flying to America, but this is my American voting party. Flying to America, man. After I got delayed, bro. I just got up now, my nigga, man. I got delayed, just got up now. We see my flight.
I don't know what he's saying, but this is the funny trend that's going on. Here's another one. My cousin in Somalia is headed to Minnesota. His birthright trip to the promised land. Man. I think I just want to show you guys that just the absurdity of the Zionist project. I love how people are using it against them. And the Somalian community, despite the fascist attack by Donald Trump, they're looking at his fascism right in the face and laughing at it. And I think it serves our community a lot to do that, right? But go ahead, JB. I just wanted to share that quickly.
Nah, thank you very much for that, because that was actually pretty hilarious. And it actually goes to show that, I mean, they basically can say, well, if we're promised this land, there's nothing that ICE can do to stop us. And what are they going to do? Run after us? Good luck with that. So it's not going to happen. So while we're at it, let's get into just a couple of the super chats, so we can and let me check this, make sure we have any Rumble rants. I want to make sure we have any of those, that we get to those first, and then we're going to get into, so looks like we're good on the Rumble side, no Rumble rants right now. And let's get into the rest of the super chats. So you got Roger Meadows coming in here. Thank you very much for this. He says, Gravy Seal, the Biscuit Brigade, Diabetes Force, the Green Beignets, the Refrigerator Raiders, and the Burger King Brigade. Thank you so much. Oh, man, those juicy ice agents, right? Big blocks of ice. I'm sorry. I'm fat, so I can do it. Okay. Anyways, Mr. Warfrat says, we need to start mass applying to these positions and start wasting your time pouring through our applications. That's actually not a bad idea. Come up the works. All right. We have Chris coming in saying, what's up, RB and comrades? It's been a whirlwind going from theory to dual power infrastructure, but the vision is slowly materializing. Keep building. Make me feel like Rome with a hammer in his hand.
That's why it killed me. When Zoran was asked about why he didn't want to challenge the King Jeffrey, he's like, "We got to manage our opportunity. Do we really want this fight right now?" I'm like, "Yes, we do. This is exactly the fight we want right now. We need to be taking it to the people and providing the working class an alternative. I think that's what mostly people are looking for, and that's why it's all about building dual power structure, not just criticize on the background, but giving people an option. I think that's what the left has failed to do, and that's why like the nihilism you see from like mainstream progressive voices always turn me off. Like, now's not the time. Shut up and fall in line. No, we need to start building power. Like, we need to reject liberalism that convince everyone that we're some victim with no power. Reject liberalism and take responsibility for your own material conditions and what you can do for your neighbors and how we can organize to achieve better for ourselves. The liberal mindset is, oh, there's nothing that we can do. We're nihilists. We got to make deals with these people. I don't believe that. That's just my personal belief. I believe that we should be working at all times to actually challenge these people. So great super chat.
Like Amanda Seals said, it's everybody's job to take care of everybody.
And Chris, like I'm pretty sure I told y'all before, if y'all don't remember, Chris is part of the CARE Party, so it's good to hear he's still out there. Nick, you met him in Chicago. He's a tall, big dude. So yeah, he's
Chris is dope.
He's doing his damn thing. We got a couple of comrades out there in Chicago right now, building and getting ready to do some moves that I can't really speak on right now, but it's looking good. We're just trying to get the Midwest on lock as far as the party, but Chris, good looking, man.
All right, perfect. Let's get into this. Roger says, if they were smart, they'd be throwing sandwiches at ICE, distracting them to get away, like that guy who threw the Subway sandwich at the local police department.
That was funny. I remember that. Oh, man.
Hey, everybody ain't got $20 for a Subway sandwich.
It's gonna go everywhere.
Only reason why I say, like, look, everybody ain't got $20 for a Subway. Just throw it at a motherfucker. But I agree with it though.
Put extra mayo on it just to make it messy.
Damn.
Last jerk gassed.
Hold on, JB. They be like, what sauces you want? All of them. Give me all of them.
Chamanik says Jason Black pushes a lot of the anti-immigrant rhetoric.
Who's Jason Black? Who's that guy?
He has a channel called The Black Authority. He'll go live and get like 8,000 people watching.
That's one.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't think he really understands part of exactly the real driver behind undocumented immigrants pouring into the country anyway. So I don't think he really understands it, or either he doesn't want to understand. But
that's a good way to drive viewership, though, is to drive divisiveness and hate, right? Because to me, like, especially when I see black people pushing the hardline immigration thing, I'm like, all right, let's do this hypothetical scenario where we get rid of all illegal immigrants. Do you think that will lead to white America giving you reparations? Do you think the Walton family, out of the kindness of their heart, when all the immigrants are done, they will start paying their workers a fair share? Do you think Starbucks, for example, I know people trying to unionize Starbucks, are they going to pay the workers a fair share? We don't have immigrants anymore. We will no longer steal your labor value. I'm begging people to understand what the concept of labor value means, how capitalists make profits. And they point to the immigrants, and they convince people immigrants is the number one reason why they are stealing from them, why they need never-ending profits that come from your labor. And I don't know what people think is going to happen. Like, once you get rid of all these immigrants, they're still not going to take care of your ass. They did it even before the immigration wave. So I don't know what people expect. But it's a good way to drive a channel, though.
I want to speak on that during the Somali thing, because what's going to happen, like, unfortunately, a lot of undocumented and documented immigrants, they work for slave wages in these factories, or whatever it may be, right? So they are keeping the machine oiled. So what happens when we get rid of the people who's keeping the machine oiled? Is they that confident in AI taking over these jobs that they're not going to need nobody? Because as Americans, they believe that we are asking for too much. We want a union. We want $40 an hour and a weekend and stuff like that. Like, what are we going to do? Like, as capitalists, this is why it don't make sense for even as a capitalist, because if you get rid of the people that you are getting cheap enslaved labor from, then how are you going to make your profits that you do every year? And that's why a lot of people, a lot of billionaires a couple of years ago was going after Trump and after the governor of Florida, because they knew if they get rid of the illegal immigrants, the undocumented immigrants, then where the money gonna come from? We can't pay Americans because we can't even pay Americans that much to stand out there in the sun to pick some damn berries. So I don't understand.
It's the scarcity myth.
Game.
Like we see our country spending trillions of dollars in expanding the empire, doing massive corporate bailouts, and it drives me crazy. People still push the scarcity myth as if the reason why they're not doing anything for you is because we don't have enough money because we're spending all the money on the immigrants. Like, we are the richest nation in the history of humankind, and people still pushing the idea that the money that they're not receiving is due to any outside influence other than the capitalist class. Please don't fall for distractions outside of class with my friends. But go ahead, JV.
The next one we have is from BC Adams, says more RBN roundtables.
I miss my homie. I'm having a good time. I miss the roundtables for sure.
Yeah. And then Chamanik says Jason Black pushes the FBA versus Caribbean divide. So thank you very much for that. So guys, just to let you, what do you guys have coming up? What's going on? I want to go to you first, Sal, because I know you have a hard out at 6. But what do you have coming up soon? Tonight, actually.
Yeah, so I'll be live later on tonight. Camilla from Press TV, she's going to come on to talk about what's happening in Venezuela and also Honduras. She's known as Camilla Press on Twitter. So she's going to come on tonight. So I finally get to talk to her for the first time. And then other than that, we do have a mutual aid event that's coming up December 20th. So we're getting busy like preparing for that. We're doing a food and a clothing drive. I think we're pretty good on clothes because we have a lot of clothes to donate. But I do know we are going to be asking people if they can send diapers. I think the other clothing item is socks. That's a big one. But diapers, socks, toiletries, those are the big needs that the people are asking for right now, especially right now. I don't know if you guys, where everybody is, but we're going through a polar vortex. They're calling polar vortex right now. It's really cold. So we're going to be asking for those types of items. Right now, nobody wants to be, like outside having to deal with that. But that's going to be December 20th for the Boston Mutual Aid chapter. So that's what we're getting ready for.
Okay. Yeah, Camilla's great, by the way. I had her on before. She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Sammy, how you just gonna? We can't have a giveaway on the same day because actually I got a giveaway coming up December 20th. We're giving out clothes, coats, jackets, and covers, blankets to the homeless, food, haircuts, stuff like that. But I don't know. I was thinking about pushing it back just a bit because I don't know what to do with the food because when the ex-CEO of Campbell's came out and said what he said, I was like, oh my God, we got so many cans. And they just
so you don't have to change the date if you don't want to, because for this one, we're not fundraising. Okay. We got the space. The space that we have is for free. Okay. So we don't have to pay for the space. All I'm asking people to do is just they can mail these items if they want to. They can donate those, but we're not fundraising this time. So if you still want to have yours on the same day, you can.
All right. That'll be dope. Sure, we both be out there the same day.
Yay.
So Nick, Rome, what do you guys have coming up?
Oh yeah, make sure you guys check out the show I did yesterday with Rathbone. Rathbone's the homie, man. He make a lot of banger content on TikTok. He also doing really well on YouTube. I had Jamal Thomas on Monday. Jamal Thomas is killing the game with his morning streams. Also, make sure you check out my appearance. I was on Jimmy Dore yesterday talking about the Luigi Mangione case. I've been watching this Luigi case like a hawk since it started. So we did a segment. Like nothing about that story makes fucking sense. I had a hotspot video I did on that. You guys know I'm always in the lab cooking. I do about 4 hotspot videos a week. I just had one that just dropped. Like I posted literally while we was live about how the UK is arresting doctors, and they're arresting grandmothers. They're arresting doctors. My friend Ronway, which she was recently arrested again for criticizing the Israeli state. So I have a hotspot video coming out on that. Ali Vargas had joined us Friday. Like Sabby read my mind because Ali Vargas, he's a great geopolitical commentator. He's gonna talk about the Honduras election, what's going on in Venezuela. And then I had the homie Jason Smith, our China correspondent, the American who reports out China. Jason Smith is incredible. He joined me on Monday to do some more China updates. And I promise you guys, Jason Smith is going to be the reason why I legally immigrate to China. I'm like, bro, find me a spot to live in China because he's living a life out there. We're going to talk about that on Monday. So I got a lot of bangers coming out. You guys know I'm always in the lab cooking. Make sure you guys check me out on my Nick Crew channel that I've been working on. It's been great to do this RBN roundtable again. I miss being on screen with you guys.
Yeah, I do miss this. I'm glad. I will have some interviews coming out pretty soon. Sabby went live yesterday, so I was like, hey, there's no reason for me to go live. So I will be doing a show pretty soon, showing you the guys. Damn, my camera fucking up bad. But I will be showing you guys the interviews that I have been stacking up on so far. And like I said, I will be going to this plant out here in Detroit. Well, it's really Hamtramck, Michigan. It's called Factory Zero. They are out striking right now. So I'm going to see how can we connect, help with them. Maybe we can get their president on the show, their union leader on the show, and see what is their terms and conditions, what we can actually do to put pressure on these people, because the factory is so, Hamtramck is small. It's like a real small neighborhood. It's no bigger than 20 blocks. So, yeah, it can just go under the radar. But I think if we put enough eyes and ears on this, then we can get some leverage, at least.
All right, guys. So just to let you guys know what's going on with me. By the way, guys, just to let you guys know, I actually have a new podcast channel that just launched on the 11th. And so my first guest that I had on the Kind Connections podcast, which is a safe place to be curious, was Ron Placone, and you guys can look for the next episode to come out on the 11th of December and then the 22nd as well. So this was my new podcast, and it ranges from many different topics to culture, science, religion, arts, history, all the good things. So this is just general and me learning more about the world around me. Also see me next Tuesday for the JB Font channel on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to head on out, everybody, and you do a shout out to the patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Like on the way out. Take care, everybody, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.